Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Well, this has been a long time in coming. One of the most anticipated watch reviews from a personal standpoint of the last year, of one of the most anticipated watches released in the last year. I have been dying to get my hands on the Zenith Dayfy El Primero 21 for the better part of 12 months. Now, I had a slight advance notice before this one bowed in 2017, but the anticipation has never abated. Finally on my wrist, you too can see and own it on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch, with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this spectacular 50 Hz chronograph. Yes, I said 50 Hz. Now that's for the chronograph, not necessarily the primary escapement, but you're going to see that this watch is really best regarded as two timepieces in a single 44mm titanium case. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see it wears better than a 44mm watch with distinct Hublot lineage would be expected to. This is a timepiece that's light and wieldy with a mostly open dial. It's essentially all air inside with a skeletonized dial, extensively skeletonized caliber, a full titanium case, and a strap that's principally natural vulcanized rubber. It's 44mm across the round of the case from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. This does not include the crown or the chronograph pushers. It's not as thick as you might have expected. Certainly it's thinner than I expected. 14.45mm thick. You can see the stepped case flank, and there's a little bit of an arc or a conical profile to the bezel. So yeah, you probably could wear this one with a dress cuff. It'll likely slide up and over, at least the suit jacket cuff will. From lug to lug, it's quite tidy, as the watch measures fractionally beneath 50mm across the wrist. So in my estimation, you could wear this watch comfortably and with a handsome proportion and security on a wrist as small as 14.5 centimeters in circumference. That's me making the call on the spot, but I feel like I have plenty of margin. As you can see, the strap is flaring out on both sides, so I'm not even at the point where this strap is being pulled straight down around my wrist. You could go smaller, and I think you should. You owe it to yourself to give this one a try, because it's one of the most exciting watches for sale on the market at any price right now. Now you can see, again, the Hublot lineage is strong with this one. The case design inspired by Jean-Claude Biver, the godfather of the modern Hublot, and of course currently the head honcho at LVMH watchmaking activities and watching carefully over the Zenith manufacturer. You can see it's slim in profile. It has gator on the top, black rectangular scale monotone stitch, leather and rubber, as you can see, all rubber on the underside. 100 meters water resistant. You're not going to want to take the plunge with the leather on, but throw it on a water resistant band and you're good to go. The clasp is rather deluxe. I didn't expect it to be this elaborate. It's all in titanium. It features twin trigger release, so you have to positively disengage it to open it. It can't pop open. You also note that the finish is handsome with a combination of polished and satin finished elements. Also on the underside, again, drawing a little bit of inspiration from Hublot, the company marquee is on the chassis of the folding clasp, but you'll also note that the imprint has been worked into the opposite side of the folding member so that the two will go together like a clamshell fashion. Now you can also note that there's a minder system such that any excess strap length is tucked underneath. This is a long-standing practice at Hublot. No minder loops on the strap. The case is simple but handsome. Again, a little bit Hublot, a little bit Zenith, a fusion of the two. That seems to be the LVMH way. Satin finished on the flank. You can see everything that's polished for contrast. Move over to the top. You can see there is a polish around the circumference of the bezel, but the bezel top itself is satin finished, and the lug hoods and the case top are satin finished. This is a handsome watch that makes superb use of grade 5 titanium and the polishability of grade 5 versus grade 2. It's well treated. It's also quite scratch resistant, so while it's not quite as tough as ceramic, it's going to be a bit more resilient than most 316 steel when it comes to avoiding scratches and scuffs. The watch maximizes the dial, which is a high-grade combination of applied and diamond-polished indices that feature a small amount of luminescence. The hands at center are also luminescent, and a number of registers from the 100 individual calibrations of the flying seconds hand to the hours. There's a power reserve, for the chronograph function, which has a 50-minute autonomy at full wind. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at the chronograph power reserve. And as you can see, there is a completely open escapement, borrowing some of the best styling features of the Terry Nataf era and bringing them forward into the second decade of the 21st century. You can actually see some interesting details here. First, and you're going to want to take note here, for the first time ever, I've stopped the balance via hacking seconds on a Zenith El Primero chronograph. I can resume by pushing the crown back in, but you'll notice a full, and it's easier to see this way, a full silicon escapement for the primary 5 Hertz or 36,000 vibration per hour balance that tells the time. There is a conventional escapement featuring metallic anchor and escape wheel with traditional synthetic ruby pallet stones for the high frequency chronograph, which operates at 50 Hertz or 100 beats per second. That's what it looks like in action, and again, because of the 100 unit scale around the outer circumference of the dial, you can easily read it and determine what 100th of a second your watch has resolved. Of course, you lose the hour register, so that's one of the few drawbacks of the system, but at the same time, most intervals you're going to measure with a chronograph won't amount to more than a few minutes in any case. Now you can see it's an easy watch to see from the dial side. It almost obviates the need to turn it over, but it does have a display case back. More on that in a moment. I think it's important to note that one of the features originally declared for this timepiece at Baselworld has not made it to production. There is no carbon fiber or carbon composite hairspring. So a conventional escapement for the chronograph escapement, which operates at a blinding 50 Hertz or 36,000 vibrations per hour, and there is a conventional ferrous hairspring for the time-telling 36,000 vibration per hour escapement. Okay, so how do you wind the watch? Well, you wind it in 2 different directions. With the crown in its neutral position, one direction winds the chronograph, so you wind it clockwise to wind the chronograph, and you wind it counterclockwise to wind the timepiece. 50-minute power reserve for the chronograph, 50-hour power reserve for the watch itself. Okay, turn it over. Let's take a little look at the case back. 53 jewels, 293 parts. This is the latest of a long line of El Primeros, but this one's really an El Primero in name and beat rate only, as there's a considerable amount of technological advance over previous iterations. Of course, the high rate escapement for the chronograph has been brought over from the work Guy Simon has done for Tag Heuer. So the Guy Simon high rate escapement for the chronograph works in tandem with the hacking seconds, the unidirectional winding, both features not present on the conventional El Primero, which is a bidirectional winder that does not hack and does not have a separate mainspring barrel and separate balance and escapement for its chronograph. This, again, 9000 series is an entire new world for Zenith El Primero watches. This is an easy watch to wear. Put it on a different strap and you can take it swimming. In any case, it's a spectacular conversation starter on the wrist, as the visual fireworks need no explanation. They're emotionally appealing and visually intriguing enough that even your non-watch geek friends are going to dig this. It's a handsome watch, albeit one that is avant-garde, with strong Hublot overtones. This is not so much, perhaps, an undilute vision of what Zenith can be, as it is perhaps the ultimate distillation of the LVMH group of watchmaking companies coming together to create a spectacular and fairly accessibly priced complicated chronograph. You can see this handsome, revolutionary Zenith Day-Fi El Primero 21 and purchase it on our website.